What is up, guys? Rishmal here, coach of the California Tigers, and I am here with the Pickems for week 2 of the PWC. Unfortunately, my partner Justin could not be here this week. He's not gonna be here for the next 4 or so weeks because he's on a trip. And I'll try to get someone to do Pickems with me next week, but this week I was just way too busy, and also I don't know about next week because most of the people in the PWC are very busy. So we'll see. If not, I can just do it solo. That's fine by me. But let's get into the video. So on your screen, you guys can see the results from the picks from last week. Mostly it went as the majority picked. My match versus Geo, 8 people got it right. The 2 people, because I won, and the 2 people who picked Geo lost. Most people got Dave versus Zern right. Fortunately, me and Justin did not, so sucks. But next, almost unanimous. Luna beating Storm. Colton got that one wrong. Then the next one is Shiny versus Justin, and that one was the most 50-50 match from last week, and because of that, it became the most people got that one wrong compared to all the other matches because it wasn't a huge upset. So 6 people got that one wrong. Wait, no, 5 people got that wrong. Justin's color is messing with me. And then Carlos versus Storm and Dustin versus Colton went mostly as expected. So after week 1, Luna, Gio, and Carlos are sitting at 5-0. Dave's at 0-5, the only person out there, but he didn't pick. So other than that, Justin, Zern, and Storm are at 4-1. But yeah, let's go into the picks for this week. Here they are. Unfortunately, after his 5-0 start, Gio did not submit his picks, so he's going to be 5-5. Dave also did not submit his picks, so he's going to be 0-10. But other than that, let's go into the matches. First up, we have Sniper versus Destin, and we have, I don't know how many people actually picked, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 7 out of 8 people going for Destin, and 1 person, Shiny, going for Sniper. I think this mostly has to do with the fact with last season, because last week both Sniper and Destin had very underwhelming performances. Destin, that was not a wheezing set, Destin. I'm sorry. But Sniper had a really bad matchup. He had no rock resist against Mega Tyranitar, so that didn't go well for him. But as for why most people are going for Destin was the champion last season, and Sniper almost got relegated. So makes sense why that happened. Shiny is the only one going with the underdog, so hopefully for him it goes well, but hopefully for everyone else he doesn't. But next up we have myself versus Colton. There are 2 locks on this match for opposing teams. 3 people for me and 5 people for Colton. I don't know why I have 3 people for me. Colton is at least in my opinion, he's one of the best battlers in the PWC, and I'm new here, so I don't know why so many people were voting for me, but I mean, I'll take it. I appreciate it. Unfortunately for you guys are gonna lose your Pickems because I suck. But yeah, so we have a 5-3 vote here. Justin locking me kinda somewhat makes sense in that Mega Charizard X has a phenomenal matchup this week. But as for Storm and all the other people picking Colton, Mega Gallad also has a phenomenal matchup from his team. I know this pretty well because, I'm prepping for it, obviously, but those are two huge threats that beat each other's teams pretty well. Next up, we have Justin versus Carlos, the old mentor matchup in the D-League Season 1. Justin's mentor was Carlos, and he went to the finals and won because of that. Well, not because of that only, also because he's just a god, but it's always been a cool matchup because they're both really good battlers, and I know Justin really wants to beat him because I'm pretty sure he lost to Carlos last season. So we have 5 people going. We're Justin with 2 locks and 3 people on Carlos. I have no idea why Shiny and Destin are locking on this match, because this is a very close match between 2 really good battlers. I guess Shiny can't vote on the match between him and Storm, and most people are just gonna lock against Storm. Sorry, bud. But most people are doing that. As you can see, I'll get into it in a bit. But as for the matchup itself, well, okay, not for the matchup, but last week, Justin used his defensive core, Mega Sableye, Shaman, and to a lesser extent Arcanine, just phenomenally. Like he didn't need to pivot into Arcanine that well, but Metagross, he used Metagross really well. Like Shaman was his main Garchomp check, and the big things that threatened Shaman on Shiny's team, Mega Sableye was able to deal with, and that was just a really impressive. Like he just beat Shiny in every way because that wall core was just too hard to beat. Which, I mean, sometimes matches go like that, but usually you can think of some prep to deal with it. But Justin just completely destroyed him, and that was very impressive, and it heavily influenced the fact that I picked Justin in this match. Also, as for the matchup, Kieran Black is a very good matchup. I mean, when does it not, to be honest? But let's see, Primarina also has a pretty good matchup. Like Roserade can take some hits, but it's not that bulky. As for Carlos' side, Mimikyu has a pretty good matchup. He needs a lot of chip though on things like Arcanine, and if Arcanine Miltank, and if Justin brings a bulky Shaman. Heracross is also pretty good, and T-Char's pretty good as well, but I think this is like a match of mostly bulk on Justin's side versus hyper offense. I mean, not full hyper offensive, but very offensive team on Carlos' side. And usually, if the walls have a decent matchup, they usually end up pulling out. So I think that's in favor of Justin. Next up, we have the one-sided match of the week. Well, one of the one. This thing I think is more one-sided than Destin versus Carlos. Carlos. Destin versus Sniper because of the 3 locks. But it is Shiny versus Storm. We have 3 locks for Shiny as well as 7 picks and 1 pick for Storm with Destin. Yeah, as for this, between last season and this season and Storm's draft, most people, including myself, just have no reason to expect anything different this week than what we've seen for the last season and a week from Storm, which have not been very impressive. I think most people just went off of that, but if we look at the matchup, well, like most weeks, 2 of Storm's mons, being Entei and Typhlosion, get walled by one water type. That's cool. Garchomp also walls them pretty well. Aerodactyl has a pretty good matchup with Fire Fang for Ferrothorn. Potentially Crunch for Cresselia. Volcarona has an amazing matchup. Like maybe like a Scarf Crobat can deal with it. But yeah, I don't want to get too deep into the video because that's like, I guess that's for team builders are for, and also the coaches battles, which you guys should definitely check out. I'll try to leave their links in the description if I remember. Next up, we have Zern versus Luna. We have, oh wow, this match is actually much closer than I would have thought. At least when I was voting, it didn't seem that close. But we have 3 people for Zern and 5 people for Luna. I think most people are going off the fact that Luna has been a great coach. I think since he joined the PWC, I wasn't there like when he joined, but the last 2 seasons he's been amazing. Last season ended on a rough note for him, especially with the game against Storm, the hacks involved with that. But he's always been a great coach. He made playoffs even with that rough ending, and his very interesting team last season. But I voted for Zern because I picked Zern because Zern's comeback against Dave was undoubtedly the best comeback I've ever seen. Dave definitely misplayed, but it's hard to say that like if I was in that position, I would have made the same play. Well, I mean, I don't know. I might have thought about it, but I wasn't in the same position, so I wouldn't know. But it's a very difficult decision to do something different than what he did. Maybe the prep was like he should have brought another move on Sand Slash, but I'm not going to get into that. But Zern made a huge comeback single-handedly with Zygarde, and Luna barely beat Storm, is widely considered. Well, Pickems show that he's an underdog in many battles, and that's a very euphemistic way of saying okay, whatever. But Luna barely beat him. He only beat him 1-0, so I didn't see anything very impressive from Luna. I wasn't a big fan of him drafting Hyper Offense to begin with, and I haven't been proved wrong yet, so I went with Zern. And last but not least, we have Dave versus Geo, which of all the Geo matches, this has got to be one of the, well, okay, whatever. There's 3 people voting for Geo, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes for Dave with 3 locks. As viewers probably know by now, Geo's a meme of the league, and everyone memes him and everyone picks against him. But Shiny, Storm, and Destin have voted for him, and I can kind of see what they're coming from, because I'm not a fan of Dave's team in the slightest. It's so bulky, and Geo's team is amazing. Like, he has an amazing offensive core of Victini, Megalop, and Hydreigon, and that core should be able to beat most of the Victini's team, which Dave's team. Only big problem could be Florges, but I'm sure, well, okay, Geo could potentially overcome that. I don't want to say I'm sure he can, but he could potentially. Victini's a pretty good switch in, but yeah, other than that, that should wrap up this week's Pick'em videos. Make sure to show love for this channel and all the channels that I hopefully will remember to link in the description. If not, you can guys just check them out. I'm pretty sure that it'll be in the description of some of the PWC videos. But other than that, see you guys next week. Peace.